Imagine you belong to a very special, secret club. This club is the most famous club in the whole world. You live in a giant, beautiful castle with golden gates and hundreds of rooms. Everyone in the world knows your name. You have a special key that lets you go wherever you want inside the castle. The guards bow to you, and the chef makes you whatever you want for dinner. But then, one day, you decide you don't like the rules of the club anymore. You decide to move far away across a giant blue ocean to a sunny place with palm trees. You tell everyone that the club wasn't very nice to you. You still have your special club name, and you still tell people you are part of the club to make money. But then, the leader of the club, who is also your dad, is no longer there. Suddenly, your big brother becomes the new boss. Your big brother is not happy with you. He feels like you were mean to the family. The very first day he becomes the boss, he decides to change the locks. He takes away your special key. He tells the guards not to bow to you anymore. He even says your children can't have the special club names. This is exactly what might happen to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Today, we are going to look at a very serious story about what happens when the one person protecting you is gone. It is a story about a family that is hurt and a brother who is ready to be a very tough boss. Get ready, because we are going to look behind the heavy stone walls of the palace to see how everything for Harry and Meghan could change in just one single day. There was a very big interview recently where Prince Harry talked about how he doesn't get along with his father anymore. It was a very sad thing to hear. Inside the giant buildings of Buckingham Palace, there is a special way that things happen when a king or queen dies. The clocks don't actually stop, but it feels like time stands still for a moment. As soon as a king takes his last breath, a very long list of rules starts to happen. These rules have been practiced for a long, long time. Every second that follows is not about being sad or crying. It is about following a plan. For Prince Harry and his wife Meghan, those first 24 hours will be a very scary time. It won't be a time for them to just sit and remember the king. Instead, it will be like a countdown. One by one, all the special things they still have because of King Charles will start to disappear. Most people who watch the royal family don't realize that King Charles has been the only thing keeping Harry and Meghan safe. He isn't just protecting them because he is a nice dad, though that is part of it. He is protecting them because of how the family is set up and how the money works. He is like a big shield between Harry and the rest of the family who are still very angry. The very second that shield is gone, there is nothing to stop the rest of the family from being very tough. There will be no soft place for Harry to land. There will only be King William. And William is a man who runs the family like a very serious business. He doesn't make choices just because of his feelings. So what exactly will Harry and Meghan lose? It won't take weeks or months. It will happen in the very first day after King Charles is gone. We are going to look at the special rules and the secret plans that will start the moment the news leaves the house. You have to wonder, at what point is someone gone from the family forever? The first thing Harry and Meghan will lose are their magic names. In the royal family, names are like the walls of a house. They tell everyone who is important and who gets special treats. The moment King Charles is gone, the power to give or take away these names goes straight to Prince William. Under King Charles, things were a bit confusing. Harry and Meghan were still allowed to be called the Duke and Duchess. Their children, Archie and Lilibet, were even allowed to be called Prince and Princess. There was always a little bit of hope that the family fight would end, so the door was left a tiny bit open. But William is expected to shut that door and lock it tight. He can use special royal papers to rewrite the rules of the family. In the first 24 hours of being the king, William is probably going to sign new rules. These rules will say that if you don't work for the royal family, you don't get the special royal titles. This would hurt Harry and Meghan right away. Their whole business in America depends on people thinking they are still royal. They have big deals with companies like Netflix, and they give speeches to famous people. All of that happens because they have those special names. If the palace says they are no longer royal, their whole business might start to fall apart. Ask yourself this: would big companies still pay them millions of dollars if they were just a regular guy who used to be a soldier and his wife? The royal brand is the only thing they are selling, and William is going to take that brand away. If losing their own titles is bad, what happens to their children will be even more painful. It will be a wound that never goes away. When Charles became king, his grandchildren Archie and Lilibet automatically got to be called Prince and Princess. This wasn't a gift. It was just an old rule from a long time ago. For Harry and Meghan, these titles were very important. They were the link between their kids and the history of their family in England. But now, think about what King William can do on his very first day as the boss. William has said many times that he wants the royal family to be much smaller. He thinks that having too many princes and princesses is a bad idea for the modern world. He wants a small, hardworking team. In his plan, there is no room for a prince and princess who live in California and have never done a single day of work for the king. In those first 24 hours, William is expected to talk to important government people and change the old rules from 1917. He would change the rules so only the kids of the king and the kids of the next king get the special titles. This means Prince George's kids would be royal, but Archie and Lilibet would not. William doesn't even have to make a big, mean speech. He just has to stop using the titles in official letters. By doing that, it becomes a fact before Harry can even try to hire a lawyer. What would the kids be called then? They would just have courtesy titles, which are like participation trophies. Archie might be called an earl, and Lilibet might be called a lady. They would be regular people with famous parents but no royal power. How can Harry fight that from all the way in California? He told the whole world he didn't want to be a working royal anymore. It would be very hard for him to go to a court in England and say his kids must be royal when he said he didn't like that life. The new king has all the power when it comes to names, and no one can really stop him. Now we have to talk about money. This is where things get very difficult for Harry and Meghan. For a long time, Harry's expensive life was paid for, at least a little bit, by a big family business called the Duchy of Cornwall. This isn't just a rumor, it is how the rules work. This business exists to give money to the person who is next in line to be king. When William was the Prince of Wales, that business made a lot of extra money. King Charles used some of that extra money to help his sons. Even after Harry left his royal job, his dad still helped him pay for his guards and his office. There was a financial cushion or a safety net made of money from his father. Even if they said mean things in public, the checks were still being written. But the moment King Charles is gone, that business goes to William. And because William will be the king, he will run the business for his son, Prince George. William will control all that extra money. William does not feel like he has any reason to give even one penny to Harry. As soon as he becomes king, he will look at all the money very carefully. Every secret deal and every bit of help that Charles gave Harry will be checked. William believes that if you don't help the family business, you don't get paid by the family business. Harry and Meghan haven't helped in years, so their account will be closed. Think about how much money they have to spend. They have a giant house in Montecito. They have private guards that cost millions of dollars every year. They have lawyers to pay for all their fights with the newspapers. They thought they would always have the family money to fall back on. Harry did get some money from his mom, Princess Diana, and his great-grandmother, but that money will eventually run out. Without the quiet help from King Charles, Harry and Meghan are truly on their own for the first time. And here is the really bad part. Once the world sees that the royal family isn't giving them money anymore, people might think they aren't as important. Their value in the business world will go down. A home is more than just a place to sleep. In the world of kings and queens, where you live shows how important you are. Harry and Meghan are about to lose their very last home in England. Frogmore Cottage was not just a house. It was a sign that they were still connected to the royal family. It was a special gift that said, even if you moved away, you still have a door here. But under King William, that door will be shut and locked in the first day. He will start a review of all the royal houses. The law says you have to be a working royal to live in those special houses. Harry and Meghan don't live in England and they don't do royal work. They fail the test. Their house sits empty almost all year long. It costs a lot of money to keep it clean, to have guards there, and to fix the roof. William has said he wants to show the public that the royal family is careful with money. He cannot explain why a giant house is sitting empty just to pretend Harry is still part of the team. When the time comes to kick them out, it will be done by lawyers in a quiet way. But the result is the same. Harry and Meghan will have no home in their own country. If they have to fly to London for a funeral, they will have to stay in a hotel or ask a friend if they can sleep on their couch. They will be just like any other famous person visiting the city. They won't be coming home to a place that belongs to their family history. They will be outsiders. Of all the fights Harry has had, the biggest one has been about police protection. He has been fighting for years to get the UK government to give him armed guards. He says that England is very dangerous for him and his family. He has lost his cases in court, but he keeps trying. He has told everyone that he is scared to bring his kids to his homeland because he doesn't have enough protection. In the first 24 hours of William being king, Harry loses his last bit of help in this fight. When Charles was the king, the government felt a little bit of pressure to be nice to Harry because he was the king's son. They might have wanted to give him a little more protection just to keep the king happy. But with Charles gone, Harry is no longer the son of the king. He is just the brother, and he is a brother who doesn't even work for the family. He is a private citizen who lives in America and has said mean things about the family. A special group of people meets all the time to decide who gets police guards. On the very first day of William's reign, they will look at the list. They will almost certainly decide that Harry doesn't get police guards anymore. He will be treated like any other famous person. He will have to hire his own guards and pay for them himself. But here is the problem. In England, private guards are not allowed to carry guns. Only the police can have guns. If Harry and Meghan go to a funeral, the whole world will be watching. They will arrive without a group of police cars around them. They won't have the secret information from the government about who might want to hurt them. In a giant crowd of people, Harry will be standing outside the safety circle for the first time in his whole life. Seeing Harry try to walk through a crowd of photographers without any official palace guards will show everyone that he is truly no longer a royal. Prince Harry was a soldier for a long time. He went to war twice in a place called Afghanistan. He was very proud of his time in the army. He loved wearing his uniform. He has said that being a soldier was the part of his life that felt most real. He wasn't just a prince. He was a person doing a brave job. That is why what happens in the first day of William's reign will be so sad for him. As the king, William is the boss of the whole British army. He is the one who decides who is allowed to wear a military uniform at big events like a funeral. For the royals who work for the family, it is automatic. They get to wear their uniforms with all their medals and gold decorations. But for people who don't work for the family, the king has to give permission. And William is expected to say no without feeling bad about it. William knows that people care a lot about this. At the last big funeral for the Queen, Harry had to wear a plain suit instead of his uniform. People thought that was a way to make him feel small. Under King William, this won't just happen once. It will be the rule forever. In the first day, the palace will send out a message about what everyone has to wear to the funeral. Harry will be told he has to wear a normal suit, not his soldier clothes. This means while William is standing there in his gold braids and his general's hat, Harry will just look like a regular person standing in a line. All his years in the army and all his medals won't matter to the palace rules. Think about how that feels for a man who used to be a hero in the army. It will show the whole world that he is no longer the person he used to be. There is another job Harry has that is very technical but very important. He is on a list of people called counselors of state. These are the senior royals who can do the king's job if the king is sick or in a different country. They can sign important papers and meet with leaders from other countries. Harry is on this list simply because of when he was born. Because he is the son of the late king, he is high up on the list. But in the first 24 hours of William being king, that is going to change fast. To have this job, you are supposed to live in the United Kingdom. Harry lives in California, so he already fails that rule. But William won't just argue about the rules. He is expected to ask the government to change the law. He will want a new law that says you must live in the UK to have this job. This isn't just about a fancy title. It is the formal way of saying that Harry has no real job in the government of England. He will be removed from the very rules that give senior royals their power. After this happens, what link does Harry have left to the government? He is still in the line of succession, which is the list of people who could be king. But as one smart person said, that list is not a list of power. It is just a waiting list. Without his official jobs and without living in the UK, Harry's connection to the country is just a name in a book. He is there, but no one can reach him, and he can't do anything. In the royal family, where you stand and where you sit is a big deal. It tells the world how important you are. The way people walk in a line and who gets to sit in the front row is planned very carefully. The first 24 hours of William's reign will involve planning for a giant funeral. They have a secret name for this plan, Operation Menai Bridge. All the important people will meet to decide how the funeral will look. In every single meeting, Harry and Meghan's place will be decided in a very cold and clinical way. Harry will not be in the inner circle. He is no longer the son of the king. He is the brother who doesn't work. In the palace, that is a huge step down. It means he will be moved to the back. Meghan's spot will be even more carefully managed. Because she is the wife of someone who doesn't work for the family and someone who has been mean to the palace, she will be treated like a regular guest, not a family member. What does this look like when it actually happens? It means Harry and Meghan might not get to walk behind the coffin. They might be told to get in a car with other distant relatives while the working royals walk on foot. It means their seats in the church will be in a spot where people can see them, but they won't be in the important seats. When the cameras show the family praying or standing on the steps, Harry and Meghan might not even be in the picture. The palace won't say they are being mean. They won't say Harry and Meghan are not allowed here. Instead, you will just see it in the photos. You will see who is in the room and who is not. This is a very powerful way to show someone they are not wanted without ever saying a word. It leaves no evidence except for the pictures themselves. Losing their spot on the official website might sound like a small thing, but it isn't. The royal family's website is more than just a place for information. It is like an official list of who is in the club. It shows the world who the palace recognizes as a member. Within just a few hours of William becoming king, the website will be changed. Harry and Meghan will be moved. They won't be deleted because they are part of history. But their names and their pictures will be moved away from the working members section. They will be put in a section for past members or extended family. They will be listed below people that most of the world has never even heard of. They will be in a spot that says, "We know you exist, but you don't have a job here." Their special titles will be left out of all the new books and papers. The court circular, which is the daily diary of what the royals do, will never mention their names again unless it is talking about something that happened a long time ago. In the words of the palace, they will cease to be operational. This means they don't have a function anymore. Why does this matter so much? Because we live in the time of the internet. When a big company or a news station wants to see if Harry and Meghan are important, they look at the official palace website. Once that website says they are not important, that news will spread everywhere. Their Wikipedia pages will change. Their official forms will change. Their status all over the world will shift. This is the digital way of taking away their power, and it happens almost instantly. This next loss is a bit quieter, but for Harry it might be the most important. Harry wrote a book to tell his side of the story. He wanted to control what people thought about his history. The British Royal Archives have every letter, every photo, and every record of the family. When Harry was a senior royal working for his dad, he was allowed to see these things. He could look at private letters and remember old talks to help write his story. But that access disappears when Charles is gone. Under King William, Harry is a non-working family member. That means he only gets to see the secret files if the king says it is okay. And William has no reason to help Harry. He doesn't have to let Harry look at the official records of the crown. This isn't just William being mean or getting revenge. It is simply following the rules that have always been there. Those rules were never used against Harry when he was the son of the king, but they will be used against him now that he is just the brother. Harry will also lose his access to the royal cars, the royal art, and the royal planes. If he wants to see the family art, he has to buy a ticket and go on a tour like everyone else. If he needs to get somewhere, he has to find his own car. The invisible world of royal life, the things Harry never had to worry about because they were just always there, will simply vanish. For many years, Harry and Meghan have had a small office in England. It wasn't a huge team, but it was there to answer letters, help with their charities, and talk to the palace. This office was like a tiny thread that kept them connected to their old home. It showed that even if they moved away, they still had a professional relationship with the crown. But on the first day William is king, he will tell everyone to look at how the family spends money. He will want to make everything streamlined, which means simple and efficient. Harry and Meghan's office has no place in a simple monarchy. William doesn't see them as part of the family business. He sees them as private people. Within the first day, the people working in that office will be told their jobs are being reviewed. The office will be closed down. There won't be a big announcement or a news story about it. It will just be a quiet note sent between offices. It is the kind of end that happens on a piece of paper before the rest of the world even knows the king has passed away. Think about what that office really meant. It was the address that showed Harry and Meghan still had a foot on British soil. It handled their mail and their work with charities. Most importantly, it was a direct way for them to talk to the palace. No Netflix deal or PR company can replace that. That direct line is now cut. This matters because that office was the last official link between Harry and Meghan and the power of the British crown. Without it, they cannot say they represent any royal interest. They can't use palace money or tools. They can't use official channels to talk to the government. The last thread is cut. Now, what does their brand look like without any link to the king? What do they do when they are just a private American company with no relationship to the monarchy at all? That is the big question that will be answered in the first 24 hours. We have talked about a lot of things: titles, money, houses, guards, and offices. But the very last thing Harry and Meghan lose is something that cannot be fixed by a lawyer or a big check. They lose the chance to go home. When Charles was the king, there was always a door left open. It wasn't a wide-open door, and it wasn't a very friendly door, but it was there. Charles made it clear in private that he still loved his son. He didn't give up on him. He kept the conversation going. Even when things were very low, the light was still on. For Harry, that light mattered a lot. It meant that his exile, or being sent away, was not total. He chose to leave, and that meant he could choose to come back one day. But William is going to blow that light out in the first 24 hours. By taking away the money, signing the new rules, stopping the guards, closing the office, and taking them off the website, William makes the exile total. William isn't doing this because he is mean, or at least that isn't the main reason. He is doing it because he is a king who knows that having things be maybe is dangerous. Having Harry and Meghan be half in and half out makes the palace look weak. By making them totally out, William makes things clear. There is no half in anymore. There is no door left open. There is no world where Harry comes back to be a senior royal again. The bridge hasn't just been burned, it has been torn down and the ground has been flattened. Here is the final, sad irony. Harry left the family in 2020 to find freedom. He wanted to live his own life and be himself. He did find a house in California and a Netflix deal. But in the process, he built a life that is still all about the palace he left. His value depends on being close to the king. His identity is all about being a royal. His kids' names are tied to titles he said he didn't want. And without Charles there to be the link to all of that, Harry will discover that the freedom he wanted has a very high price. As the first day of King William's reign ends, Harry and Meghan will be in their house in California or a hotel in London. They will have been to the first parts of the funeral as regular guests. They will have stood in the right spots but in the wrong groups. They will have been photographed without anyone saluting them. They won't have their special names or the big palace support that used to be like a second skin. They will understand, maybe for the first time, what it really means to be on the outside. They aren't just having a fight with the family anymore. They are outside the fortress. They are in the cold looking in at a royal family that has moved on without them. The family is getting ready for a new king's coronation and they have no job for Harry. They don't need him and they don't want to make a spot for him. Charles was the last soft thing between Harry and that cold reality. Now that softness is gone. The world will be watching to see what happens next. It's not about what they lose in those first 24 hours. We already know the answer to that. The real question is, what will they build instead? Is there enough left of their brand and their strength to make a new life? That is a question that no king can answer for them. If this look at the secret rules has helped you understand what is really happening, please subscribe to our channel. Join our community of over 50,000 people who want to know the truth behind the headlines. Leave a comment below and tell us, do you think King William is doing the right thing for the future of the family? We want to hear what you think. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.